We're live. This is day 6, KJ Cash Bootcamp. We've come a long way. We've talked about pivots, Delorean. We've talked about order blocks, gaps. We talked about liquidity. And now today I want to talk about how to put it all together. Now, if you've not watched day 1, you need to definitely watch that because none of this will help if you don't understand the mental aspect of trading. Now, to find confluence or finding confluence, one thing I want to show us is this buy position from right here, which was a setup here. This set this buy up, and we're going to talk about it. Now, this is how your chart should look. And if it doesn't look like this, go ahead and send me a message. We'll get you right. Okay. I alternate between both and none because the pivot levels look funky sometimes. Okay. Now, when we're looking for confluence, that just basically means we want more than one thing to tell us what's about to happen. Now, we've already mentioned, let's just go back in time. I want you guys to watch this play itself out a little bit. From here, again, this is the, get this off. This is the buy we're going to take. This is the setup for the buy. And we're going to take this buy based on the confluence of our pivot levels, our D-low lines and everything. Okay. Now, as we take the candles back to this initial stopping point, right? We could just keep going back further and further and further, but we don't need to. We can already see based on pivots, and I'm going to let everything else load in, but based on pivots, we are at the -1, -2. If you don't know what that means, please go check out. I think it's like day 2, day 3 of the bootcamp. It's very simple, 20 minutes. Tell you all about these pivots. But we're looking for buys now. We're looking for a potential reversal. And again, this is the S&P. It works for really anything. It works for anything, right? Now, we got a gap down here that has not been mitigated. We got some rejection blocks down here. Of course, we need to wait to see price action. This is a Thursday. We're getting a nice drop. We need more before we see a trade. Now, obviously this, and I should have mentioned this earlier, this was a liquidity grab. Right here, liquidity had been grabbed. We see the fair value gap has been mitigated, and we got a new rejection block down here. Price pushed up towards the P4. This right here is a order block. So we got to see what happens at this order block. We got some price action down here. We're not in any buys yet. Everything is still being set up. We're waiting for more confluence. We don't have enough. Yes, yellow is shifting with red, but we got the rejection of this P4, which used to be the S0. Now it's the P4, right? But we're still building levels. We're still building on what we got. Now let's pause it. Well, we're not going to pause it yet. I might actually need to fast forward this a little bit. So what we got first to talk about this was we had an order block get established here with liquidity being built up, right? Now, if you had missed, because this wasn't even an ideal entry in between pivot levels, not a lot of confluence for this, so it's at risk of being stopped out. What we got here now is some liquidity that has yet to be grabbed. I can even rewind these candles here. And again, all of this is a setup, so this isn't necessarily the ideal entry yet. But if you wanted to take this entry, what we're looking at right here is liquidity at the S3 with a rejection block down here. Now, for my risky traders, you can have your stops here, or when I say stops, I would say like or limits. So your buy limit would be here, stop loss would be here, under this bullish engulfing candle that did not get eaten up here. So the bullish engulfing, it came down to the halfway point, which was the S3 of this bearish candle. So this could be an order block. It's setting itself up so far. And this only came down to the halfway point. Not only that, we got liquidity built up, so you can definitely put you a limit right here, wait for this liquidity to get grabbed and price to take off towards your 50, right? Now, did it freeze again? No, we're good. We're good to go. So price comes up, grabs the liquidity, it did it so quick. So it grabs the liquidity above the 50. No. Price comes up to the 50, grabs liquidity, sheesh. Comes down and tests, comes up to our 200 and 800, then finally drops back down into our order block. A lot of trades just happened just there, just that quick. Because we had our limits here, we would have been, of course, we said price has to come up to this 50. It did. It then, came back down to retest the P4, bought up 200, at which point the rejection of this could have been a sell, the rejection of the R5, but of course there's no order blocks here, so this stop loss could get smacked. You're gonna have to TP quick, but it comes back down into the order block at the S3 that was established here. Of course, this still has not been mitigated, and now we have liquidity under the order block, so we're waiting for price action. We're still waiting for our ultimate buy, but we are getting some setups. Now, what did we get this time? Now we have an order block and pivots, right? And if you look, this liquidity has not been grabbed. We came down, set it up, came down. We got an equal low now, tapped with the bullish engulfing out of our order block. Of course, this one hasn't been mitigated either. So if you're getting in for a second buy here and you're saying, okay, we're going to go from the S3 to the P4 or even to the 50 EMA, then your stop losses should again be here. But keep in mind, this liquidity now from here, this has not been grabbed yet. This is looking like a key level. But we just got to keep waiting and watching because this is all a setup for that ultimate buy. Candles is loading in kind of quick. We got a mitigation of the fair value gap. Another order block has been set up as price is retesting this 200 and 800. Now, this first one was a clear rejection. Boom, price came right back down with a bearish engulfing, setting up an order block that had gotten mitigated practically right away. Now, the key thing to notice here is that price came right back up to our 200 and 800, which is telling us that this resistance is getting weaker and is maybe turning into a support, which is what we need to look out for. Not only that, we're getting more and more order blocks being more bullish order blocks, less bearish order blocks. We're looking at now, this buy may have been a lot weaker then. We're looking at now some potential reversal. So we're going to wait for price to come back in. All we did was tap the 50 and explode up. Oh, it's loading in slow because I'm getting some alerts. Price is moving right now. And now we're headed towards our ultimate position. I'm getting some alerts. It's all good. We're in an active position right now, guys. We're trading, but we're not going to worry about that. So what I'm seeing here is, again, this rejection block from earlier, way earlier, had not been tapped. So all stop losses are under this one right now. We have gotten this one created out of course, the order block that we had just mentioned. Our P4 is here. Price is shooting up. We got a break of the P4. This could be considered a retest, but I really want price to come down, grab some liquidity, maybe test this order block before I get in for my ultimate buy up into this one. That's just how I was kind of feeling about it. And of course, price could come into this one, then down into this one, then up to the R8. But we need that R8 swing, and I just feel like we just need to get one more retest, especially with our EMAs being so jumbled. We need to get in here one more time with where we have confluence. And so we're talking about putting everything together. I'm looking at this P4 with the rejection block and liquidity. I'm looking at the S3 with the order block and liquidity. These are now positions that we're looking for to enter the market. Of course, if price can come to this R5 where we have our D-low lines and liquidity and show us a strong willingness to go up, then we'll go ahead and enter there as well. But we just got to be patient, recognizing, of course, that as the market drops, these are ideal targets to enter for the buy. Keep it simple. So we get a liquidity grab as we continue to head down. Right? It comes up into this rejection block, first, which is, We recognize that. Liquidity grab, boom, into the rejection block. Let's get down into here where we can take that buy up. Now keep in mind our pivots levels have shifted now. So the R8, which was up here, is now here, which tells us that we can go ahead and look for ourselves. Man, the price action is moving. So after price, and maybe I should rewind this, shortly after price mitigates this rejection block, we get a nasty drop. And that candle then tells our pivots that this is the new R8. And now we're starting. Let me just rewind it, just so you can see it while I'm talking about it, right? Tells our new pivots this is the new R8, and we should be seeing some drops into the levels that we previously discussed. Boom, mitigation. Oh, the candles is moving, but we didn't get to see it because the pivot levels were adjusted. We got mitigation, a doji, pivot levels adjusted, drop, or maybe it was mitigation, doji, drop, pivot levels adjusted. Let's see. Doji, drop. Let's wait for these pivot levels to adjust. Mitigation of this order block, rejection block, right? It's all good. Pivot levels adjusted, bearish candle through the pivot level. Of course, this is a lot of liquidity built up, and we're looking at our buy entries here. Again, like I said, for price to ultimately come up into this area. That's what we've been waiting for. This got mitigated first. We didn't know that was going to happen. It's cool. But this is what we're waiting for because of our confluence. We're stacking everything together. It takes patience. We're letting the market come to us. It bounces off our 50 a little bit, finally comes through, bounces around, finally comes through. It's collecting liquidity. It hits our P4. It's now mitigated a rejection block. The P4, it's inside of our order block. Now, all we need is either a strong bullish candle through these pivot levels, and we have some clear targets. TP1, TP2, TP3 is long. And of course, we could get, a liquidity grab here. Price could tap here. So we're going to have to stretch those stops. But we see our risk to reward. We are now back in our buy zone according to what we've worked on so far. All right. Let's see what happens. We now got our P4. Price looks like it's selling through the P4. We're doing a lot of testing. We get a lot of liquidity built up. And then look, damn, let me rewind it. It happened so quick, so quick, so quick. Let me let it load in. I'm getting excited. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, what you see is liquidity is built. It's trapping retailers when we already know, this was obviously some bank liquidity down here that's not been stopped out. Up here is another safer stop loss. We're waiting for our other order blocks to come in. So here we go. We got some confluence now. The S2, like I said, confluential area, boom, confluential area, right? We got some equal lows being created. We got some liquidity being built up. All we need to do is put our limits either here, which, yeah, go ahead and put our buy limits in this area, put our stops under, right? Either under this area, you can pick. And of course, you can have limits here too, risk to reward. We're looking, like I said, TP1, 38.28. We're coming from 37.50, 37.50. P4 to R8, that's 77 points. TP2 is going to be 113 points. TP3 is going to be 158 points. All the while, our stop loss, right, is only on the short end, 12 points. On the a little bit safer end, 40 points. And if you want to bring it all the way down here, because you got the capital, again, day one is going to tell you all about that. We got a 59-point stop loss. 70 points. That's more than a 1-to-1, even if you wanted to go multiple pivot levels down for your stop loss. And if you did that, you would have a pop right here, meaning you're planning on getting another buy entry and another buy entry, and your stop loss is down here. That's the only reason your stop should be there. So if price comes all the way down, you get buys, all the way back up into here. And we're talking about that on day one, right? So again, what we're looking for and waiting for, and I should have paused it, but you know, in price action, you just got to be ready. And this is a previous daily low. We want price to come, grab this liquidity, shoot up. Now, if it breaks through this daily low and keeps pushing, we can assume it's going to come down here. We'll go over this later to this highly confluential area. But watch. Boom. Builds up liquidity. We get a stop out. And an explosion. Hold on. How many TPs was smacked off that? TP1 smacked. TP2 smacked. Clearly headed towards TP3. I won. I mean, my money on me. That's crazy. Risk, honestly, and as we continue through the boot camp, there's gonna be another way to catch this trade. And I did catch it. Boom, boom, right up under here. We already talked about the triangles. We know that that means that there's been a stop hunt and a bullish engulfing. Now let's talk about, well, we got all these dealer lines. That could have been a TP. Yes, price could have rejected off of here and it didn't. We got a hard hourly close. So if you wanted to wait on your entry, if you said, I'm going to wait, I'm going to be patient because this was entry 1 based on the liquidity grab in the order block. Entry 2 was as price was shooting up. Honestly, you're going to have to take that market X, or you can go into a smaller time frame and wait for the dealer lines to cross. But entry 3 is as yellow cross red on the close of this candle. And of course, the longer you wait, the more risky it starts to get. Because this could have been a stop point. Price could have just came back down. But recognizing that this bullish action means price is definitely going up to our R8, you could have gone ahead and got in here, just took a 1-to-1 trade. Boom. Stop loss at the R6, TP here or here. Because now you have your DLO lines shifted. You got a stop loss. You got a liquidity grab. Price exploded from the P4. This is an order block. We know that. It just hasn't loaded in yet. There we go. The clear of another order block. If you did not just take order block to order block trade, end zone to end zone, you missed it. You missed it from end zone to end zone. Let's go ahead and get that shift, and let's go from end zone to end zone. And let's get this money, baby. Let me go ahead and play the candles out. It literally pulls its ass up in there. No drawdown, even from here. So no drawdown, no drawdown. TP's smacked on S&P. And that's how you do it. This is the KJ Cash way. It's only day 6. Of course, there is a lot more to it. Go back through the past days. If some of this doesn't make sense, send me a message. Let's go through it. Let's get your chart looking like mine. Let's get you in a Telegram group. Let's drop some ideas for each other. Let's grow. Let's work our way to 6 and 7 figures together. The key to this information, guys, is going to be repetition. Repetition of information is what leads to it sinking into your subconscious mind, which is what's going to allow you to take these trades and do it thoughtlessly, emotionlessly, and grow your account day by day, 5% your way to millions and millions. We're going to do it together right here, right now, but it's up to you. This is day 6. I look forward to day 7. KJ Cash, we are going all the way up.